everybody. It looks like, wow, it looks like we are live, we think. Now we're live. We're live. Wait, okay, now we're live. We're live.
We're like, you never quite know when that moment is, but it's a huge moment to be going live. Welcome to everybody joining us from around the world. Julie and I are here today in the hall at Mapperton. It is a fairly light, late spring evening.
Yeah.
And who have we got? We got people from all over.
Yeah, we have people from everywhere. So thank you all so much for joining. Before we get started, we're going to have a few people join because people would have just gotten their notifications right now. But what we will say is that we're not alone this evening, are we?
Are we not alone?
Well, there's about
we're not alone.
150 people outside.
We are definitely not alone this evening at Mapperton. There is a whole party going on because it is our first wedding of the season.
Yep.
And I think there are over 100 people here for the first part, and then there are even more people coming for the dancing later. So if the audio starts having the sound of a beat in the background a bit later on,
that would be why. They're right there.
It's not that we're having a disco here, it's that we've got one outside.
And it was... they didn't have the greatest of weather to begin with. So when they went into the gardens, there was rain, unfortunately. However, all of a sudden the rain has swept by us and we've got decent blue skies. Sun is out. You know, the sun hasn't set yet. It still has about another hour and a bit to go. So they're all in front of the wisteria because the wisteria on the North Stable Block, if you looked at Mapperton Estates Instagram recently, and Julie Montagu, I did a little video there, and that is what the wisteria looks like right now. So they're all in front of the North Stable Block getting magnificent photos because who wouldn't?
On a day like today.
And it's sunny now.
Normally when people have weddings here, they go down into the gardens, and that's one of the great attractions of getting married here. And by the way, if you're thinking of getting married, do think of Mapperton as your venue. There is no better place. Very long marriages
we got married
started
here. We got married here.
Mapperton.
So there you go. Gosh, lots of people joining. We have almost 200 people joining. So do in the chat. We can't say hi to everybody, but do in the chat. We recognize lots of our patrons here. Do in the chat. Say where you are tuning in from. We've got everybody from New Zealand to British Columbia, Canada, to Toronto, Canada, to South America. Wow. Uruguay. Wow. Lots of you in the USA, so do let everybody know what state you are tuning in from. Lots of you, wow, Canadians, Portugal, incredible. So do let us know. It's so nice to hear where you're tuning in from. And
if you've got questions, please just post them in the chat. We will get to all of them. But before we do that, are you kicking off or am I kicking off?
Well, I think I'll kick off now. We've reached over 200, and you might be wondering what we're wearing on our heads. And I like them because I'm American, and I just remember growing up and wearing baseball caps all the time. But this is new.
This is our first Mapperton baseball cap.
There we go.
If ever there was a question as to whether Mapperton was going to make it and remain relevant in the 21st century, I think we have answered that question by developing our own hat. You've got the Mapperton logo. In fact, it's a new logo at Mapperton, still using the 3 lozenges, the famous Montagu lozenges that date back now probably 1,000 years.
Almost,
1,000 years of Montagu lozenges, and they're still
Montagu
here.
lozenges.
And they are adorning our heads today because this is the start of some new clothing.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. So slowly but surely we're going to be putting out different bits of sort of fun apparel. But we also wanted to say a huge thank you to our patrons. And so all of our patrons who are in the top 3 tiers, so that is the Hogarth, Reynolds, and Gainsborough. If you have been a Mapperton Live patron for a year or more, we will be sending a cap out to you just to let you know how much we appreciate you. So everybody who's been one of our Mapperton Live patrons for a year or more in those top 3 tiers will be receiving this. And if you're not a patron and you want and would like to don one of these, you can have one as well. So if you would like this sent to you, You can get it sent to you if you sign up to one of those top 3 tiers for a yearly membership. Not only will we send you a cap, plus lots of other goodies that are included. So a tea towel, a magnet, some postcards, but you also get 16% off of your yearly subscription. So if you head to patreon.com/Mapperton Live, it's in our description as well, and you sign up to the Hogarth, Reynolds, and Gainsborough tiers, one of those tiers, you get 16% off. You'll get this hat, plus you'll get lots and lots of other merchandise as well. And remember, all of the support that we get from Patreon goes straight to preserve this part of England's heritage. There we go.
Well, that was very well said. Yes, it couldn't be more important to us to express our thanks to our many patrons, so many of whom have become friends, people that we know well. We can see some of you here, people that have visited Mapperton,
transcribers here,
some many times. And as Julie says, what we are doing here with our Patreon membership is really providing a way to provide support for all of the repairs, maintenance, restoration projects that we have here at Mapperton. It's a completely innovative way of helping support these places and keeping history alive. And if you're not a member, we hope you'll consider joining.
So I put the link in there. Somebody asked, do the caps come in red with white stitching? Right now,
we've got a test one that does have that. Right. At the moment, we think these ones work better. The red has got a bit lost in the colour, but we may have those.
It's here. We're going to show it to you. But this was a test one, and
we don't think it's quite as nice as the ones with the white, because the red's got a bit lost in there. So the answer is yes, but we're not sure that one is going to work as well.
Yeah. So we had everybody sort of give an opinion here at Mapperton, and everybody agreed this one, because you can properly see it.
This one, unless you like your baseball caps incredibly low key and people not being able to tell that you're a huge fan of Mapperton, which we know that you are. But we think the white one works better. So Julie was saying that we've got a wedding going, and we do have a wedding going, and that's tremendous. I mean, it's one of the things that keeps historic houses going, are weddings. In the 90s, the government decided that you didn't any longer have to get married in one of 2 places: church, registry office. And for the first time, people could get married in what were called licensed venues. And that was suddenly a huge boon for historic houses across the UK, because we were suddenly able to have weddings on our premises. And of course, where better to get married than with a historic house and garden as your backdrop? Some places have as many as 100, 150 weddings a year. We haven't gone down that route. We think that's far too many. But we have about 15, so a limited number. And it's the first one is this weekend, and then they are most weekends through the seasons. And it's just wonderful, because so many of the brides and grooms end up coming back here. They get to stay in the holiday cottages, Keeper's Cottage, Garden Cottage, and they end up coming back here again and again, because this is where they got married. And so it becomes a really important place for them to return to.
Yeah, exactly. And the sun is shining, and we can't see it now. It'd be too hard through the windows, but we can see our amazing 18th century eagles happily perched where they belong. And we recently had, they look fantastic, don't they?
This has been one of the other just extraordinary success stories, and one again that we're so grateful to our patrons and donors for making possible. About 2 years ago, a bit less than 2 years ago, we had a huge storm, and we woke up in the morning and one of the eagles had fallen over, and we discovered that the other eagle as well needed complete restoration. And it was really thanks to all the people who've given support through GoFundMe to that the eagles are now back up. And we had this amazing time with donors who came to stay at Mapperton for what we called the Eagles Tour, which included the unveiling of the eagles. There's a plaque celebrating all of the donors who gave above a certain
and if you
level.
haven't watched that video, that was last week's video, so do check it out, because it was wonderful, wasn't it?
It was a really uplifting video, and it was a really uplifting moment for Mapperton to have them back there.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
We really hope they're going to stay up for another 300 years, which will see us out. It will not be our responsibility.
That's right. Mike White gave us a 100-year guarantee, didn't he? Mike White, who put them back together. He said, I can give you 100 years.
Now, we just had a note from Karen telling us that the lampshade by Julie is crooked. So
it is. Now,
Karen, we will do something about that. This is
a lamp from Hinchingbrook. So this was brought from the original family ancestral seat that had been in the family since 1627. Yeah, it is.
Is that any better?
Is that any better? Yeah.
I think, well, it's a bit better. I think it looks crooked, Karen, partly because of the angle of the table that it's on. I can see it's all wonky. And also the angle of the camera. So in reality, it is not as crooked as it looks. And it's not about to fall off. And also, most things at Mapperton are
a little bit crooked.
A little wonky. Do you say wonky in America?
Not so much. Well, I mean, Willy Wonka, obviously, but that was
but not
British.
Wonky. No, wonky really means kind of crooked over here.
Do we say it that much? Let me know, you guys. I can't remember. I don't remember saying wonky when I was growing up. It was always just a crooked, So the Eagles are back. The sun is shining. A wedding is happening. And we just wanted to come on today and say hi to everybody and to give you guys just a bit of an update because we just opened up to the public. So we open up to visitors every year and our season started March 31st, Easter Sunday. So we've been open now for a good 6 weeks. And a lot of you have been asking, well, how is it going? Because our season then ends the end of September. So we're still at the very beginning. And so far, you know, I think the weather's been okay. It's getting better.
Not really. No,
okay.
The weather's been terrible.
Okay, in April the weather, but it's been getting better in May, don't you think? No. Today? Well, no, it rained
No, not
earlier.
today. It's rained all day today.
Yeah,
I think Julie is trying to put a brave face on this, and I don't blame her at all because the weather has not been our friend this year at all. And as you know, it's caused huge problems, not just with the beavers, which we'll come on to in a second, but also with the road up at Coltley, which is...
And explain to everybody what Coltley is, because Coltley is just a part of the estate.
Coltley is where a big part of the rewilding is going on. And I think most people know where Coltley is now. Though one of the requests that we've had, which is a really good one, is that we put out some kind of map so that people can see how everything relates to everything else. And we were thinking of doing a kind of full drone tour of Mapperton to do that.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'd like that.
You'd like that?
Everybody?
Yeah, I'd probably like that.
Oh my gosh.
There are bits that even we do not know that well.
I would like that.
Anyway, the road, we've just had the council back up. They've done these enormous boreholes, deep boreholes. They've gone down 18 metres with their drills. And they were still going down 18 metres and it was sand last time I was there.
Can you explain the council that for Americans we don't have what the council is? So just a little bit of an explanation. The council would be, it's the local government, so it's the local entity that is in charge of the roads as well as many other public services. And and they're in charge of the roads, so when the road has a slip, as it has, they have to come in and work out what the solution to that is. But before they could do that, they have to do all these tests, all these boreholes, to tell them exactly what the underlying geology is and what the likely faults are, and therefore what it's worth doing and not worth doing. So we don't know the answer to that yet, but I did have a slightly dispiriting conversation, which made me think that it may take them some time to repair this, which of course for us is a bit of a disaster because we rely on access to that area for the rewilding, but also for our glamping. Yeah. I mean, I went up today to Coltley to look, and there are all these wonderful shower units and lavatory units and tents, and they're all just sitting there waiting to go out, but we can't get them out because we can't use the road. The road is actually closed. Yeah, the road is closed. So that wasn't a good start to the season. It wasn't the best start. To be honest, everybody. I see the red dot. You can see the red dot. Yeah, that wasn't the best start, and the weather hasn't helped. But I'm going to put it in a but here. We, we're offering. We've had our first ever Taste of West Dorset. That was last weekend. We had 20 stall holders, all local artisans, all offering amazing food and drink that represent this area. It was a huge success, and it was an amazing success. We had almost 1,000 people over 2 days, which is basically, above what I had expected we would get. The sun was shining. Then we had two great days. We were so lucky.
Wow.
So that was it. And that's an event. Now we know that it was successful. We're going to do it again next year. We're going to increase it to 50 stalls. We're following the same pattern that we did for our Christmas market when I started that in 2021. We started with about 20 and then we grew each year. So that has been really exciting. And then also with tours of the house, we offer 4 tours a day, maximum 16 people for each tour. They have obviously our wonderful volunteers are the tour guides. But addition to that is the Alberta exhibition. So the Gilded Age American Heiress exhibition. And that just opened the 5th of May. So it's only been opened for 2 weeks. And it has been a huge success so far. It's just about getting the word out because especially with the amount of information and journals and letters and diaries that we have is pretty tremendous. But we've been uploading all of these letters that have been transcribed by our wonderful virtual volunteers across the United States, Canada, and the UK, and putting them into our own custom AI, which I'm going live in about 45 minutes after we finish this in the library, and I'll be testing Alberta a tiny bit there, so be sure to join me live there. I don't want to give too much away because we're going to go into the library in 45 minutes.
Just in case you were stuck with what to do today on Saturday,
hang out with us.
A double bill.
Double whammy.
It is Mapperton Live followed by AV.
Followed by American Viscountess.
But I'm not invited to the next bit, am I?
Well, if you want to.
I can go and disturb
You
her.
can come in.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't want to I'm going to talk more about that in my live, but that has been a huge success of new things that we're offering. Plus we started to do pub quiz nights here. So pub quiz nights are like massive in this country. I didn't know anything about them until I moved over here. But every sort of local, what you call kind of like your local pub, every village, every area around the country has a local pub, and it's where everybody knows your name, like in Cheers. And we started to do pub quiz nights here. We
did, and these have been organised by our wonderful new operations manager, visitor operations manager, Rob. And Rob, shout out to you in case you're watching. Actually, I don't think you are because he's got his stag do today.
Yeah, he's getting married next weekend.
Getting married next weekend. But Rob has come in and come up with all these wonderful ideas for new things, including a pub quiz night. Now, we are thinking about how we can make this a virtual pub quiz so that we can actually do it online and include all of you.
Yeah, let us know down below. Would you be interested in? We would make it so it starts here at 7:00 at night. So that would be 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
The question though is how would we do the teams? Because if we've got an international team of hundreds of people, you're going to know all the answers. Not only that, you'll have Google at your fingertips. Not that any of you would use Google on a quiz night, but there is the risk that it would outshine our local teams. So again, if any of you can think of ways around that, we need to create exam conditions for the quiz night.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But in some way it would be fun to do. Maybe we have you all as the kind of expert in the corner to answer the question when everybody else has failed.
Well, there was a way that they did it over the pandemic. And we'd have to look into that technology. I was talking to Rob about there was a way that you could do it. Yeah. But there is some type of technology that I think you'd have to upload, and then you're with your team and you're able to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So there is definitely the technology there. We're going to have to research it.
We'll have a look at that.
Paul has asked how many people on a team. I think it's 6, isn't it?
Well, ideally, no. Teams can be 2, 3, 4, 6. Oh. It's there you go. He would know. Well, virtual teams. That's a good question because we wouldn't want to make them too enormous for the aforesaid reasons. Anyway, that's one of the exciting things that we've got.
Yeah.
By the way, you were talking about the Alberta exhibition, and one of the fun things...
Oh, yeah, I did. I saw this today. I didn't even know it went out.
We're starting to get some good press. This is our local paper, and
look
it
at
has
that.
A story. Exhibition uses AI to bring Heiress to life. Isn't that fantastic? And there's a picture of you.
I know.
In front of your panels.
Yeah, I know. It is very exciting. So that's going to have to
It calls you Mrs. Montagu later on. Do you mind about that?
That's okay, because earlier on it says
Viscountess Hinchingbrook,
so I know it's super confusing.
That's okay. But then, amazingly, we're getting quite a lot of publicity at the moment. Because this was me.
Not me.
I think this is the Telegraph, isn't it?
It's the Telegraph.
Do any of you read the Telegraph?
Well, it's
I don't know whether any of you read the Telegraph. It's
British.
It's a British broadsheet, and it does this series. Oh, I've missed out the headline, and the headline says, "Our energy bills are absolutely eye-watering." Well, that is definitely true, actually. Our energy bills are eye-watering. And they have a thing called Great Estates. It's a feature in the Telegraph. We've been in it before. Do you remember, about 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
But not since we've started YouTube. So one of the things that they focus on here is the wonderful way in which we are able to support
I'm glad we redecorated that library. Thank you to all of you who donated through Buy Me a Coffee, because it's one of the pictures in the Telegraph. Put it up again.
One of the things I say here, which of course is absolutely true, is that it's really difficult at Mapperton because we are not near any major cities.
No.
So many other houses are, and Mapperton is over an hour from any large town. So people coming here, you don't really want to travel more than an hour for a day trip, and so they just don't come. So that's one of our challenges, which is why
we've gone digital.
So we've got way more visitors than any other historic house.
We are pretty much the only historic house so far on YouTube that's doing a video week in and week out. So, but it takes a lot of work, as I think many of you realize.
Yeah, but we love it.
But we love it. No. I think it's we've started it over the pandemic.
We don't really want anyone else to do it either. we quite like forging.
We
a
probably
path
need
here.
it more than any of the other historic houses, because we're not near a major city.
We need virtual visitors, not physical visitors.
Exactly. Now, lots of people are asking, Luke, about somebody said every time you hold up a paper, they think it's going to say that the beavers have been returned. So everyone's
excited about the beavers. We have a proper beaver update on the video next week. But all I can say is that they are not back. Last time when they escaped, they behaved really well. They said, we're just going to pack our bags, go on holiday about a mile away, eat some new vegetation, hang out, and then we'll come back again.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yep.
This time, they've just scarpered. And the reason for that is that with all this wet weather, we've had these torrential rain flooding down the valley.
Horrible.
And bringing stones and logs, and it's smacked up against the beaver grill, the grill that goes through the stream to stop them escaping. And because that's happened so many times, it's broken that part of the enclosure, which means that the beavers have been able to escape, and we haven't been able to repair it, because every time we think about repairing it, there's another storm. We do now have a plan, and it's going to be expensive, actually. I haven't told you about this.
No, I think you told me a little bit. There's new piping, a new grill. It's a nightmare. Digging.
And we're going to create what's called a retention pond. Anyway, you'll find out all about that.
Yeah, but
in next week's video.
It's another drain. No pun intended. Did you like that one? It's another drain.
That was really bad. Well, I mean, it was okay. It was all right. Right, I'm sure there's loads of people chortling online.
Hilarious.
In front of their screens at the moment. So anyway, that's where we are with the beavers. Now, one other thing that we wanted to mention to everybody is, of course, that we are doing another Grand Historic Tour this year.
On the back of the success from last October.
I don't know, I hope you saw the film of the last one, but we had 12 wonderful people come and stay at Mapperton for 5 days. We had such an amazing time. We had these lovely dinners, black tie, we got to dress up, 5-course meals, fantastic wines.
It was so much fun, wasn't it?
It was so much fun that quite a few of them are coming back for next time. But we still have, I think, 3 or 4 spaces left. So if you're really quick...
I'll put, you guys, it's like an experience. You know how my view is as I get older in life, I want to create memories, and I'd rather do something that is an experience that's sort of once in a lifetime that, can't necessarily, you don't get anywhere else. And so that for me is what Grand Historic Tours is. It is special.
Well,
and we took, almost 2 years getting this right.
Yeah, no, it's very carefully developed and curated. Wonderful Sam Hannay leads the tour and organises it and liaises with everybody. We've got all these incredible excursions to other historic houses owned by friends of ours. We go out to other fantastic local restaurants. There's just so much that goes on into this. And
is it Grand Historic Tour or Tours? Can't remember.
GrandHistoricTours.com.
Tours, yeah. It wasn't
GrandHistoricTours.com.
Thank you.
And Julie's putting it in the chat at the moment. And if you're interested in one of these last places, please do get in touch. And it would be fabulous to see you here. So
do check it out.
That is something we are really looking forward to. It's also quite nice and relaxing for us because we get to hang out and enjoy the house and eat good food and drink well.
And get to know all of you because you're with us all the time. I mean, all the time. Not all the time, but I mean, you're
5 nights.
5 nights.
5 nights in Mapperton, in the bedrooms, lots of newly renovated bedrooms and bathrooms. In fact, every single one has got...
which is a rarity.
Which is one of the first things that we thought we would do here. So, Julie, we were talking about...
press.
About publicity. It's quite exciting, but...
I don't know if America knows this.
Do they not?
Maybe I think you do. Maybe.
We've got another big photo shoot.
This coming week. We'll film it for you, for YouTube.
And
film
it's
bits of it.
with Hello Magazine.
They're doing a big spread on us.
But you don't think Hello Magazine is big in America?
Well, I don't know. Do you guys have Hello Magazine in America? Hello is massive over in the UK and massive in Europe. It's the biggest one in Europe.
It's the biggest kind of glossy lifestyle magazine with photo shoots of celebrities and then much less important people like us from time to time. And it's really good fun. We did an amazing one during lockdown. Do you remember? We had to take all the photos ourselves because obviously you couldn't have a photographer. And that was great fun. So, but we haven't done one in a while. So
we haven't. I'm just going to make sure I've got this link right, everybody. Everybody's asking me if it's... Here you go.
Grand Historic Tours.
Yeah, maybe I typed it in wrong. Sorry, everybody. Here we go. Put it in there.
Did the link. It should be in the description. Is it in the description?
Yeah, maybe it's... Anyway, I've done it there. So that's exciting. And
you get hair and makeup.
I get hair and makeup, and I get out. Like they're bringing a stylist.
Hair and makeup.
They're bringing a stylist for me. I mean,
I get stylist.
I know.
Yeah, it's not just.
So we're gonna get dressed up. So we're really excited.
We've persuaded one child to join us.
Yep, we have.
We won't tell you who.
No, we won't. We won't. It's probably not the child that you think. Actually, that's your hint.
That's true.
It's not the child that you think.
It's not the child that you think.
Right. So we have that. We'll film the behind the scenes for that, everybody, as well. Which is because we film quite a bit of what we do here, don't we?
Yeah. So hello, yes, some states, but not others. It's in Canada, and I know Hello Magazine from Absolutely Fabulous. Exactly.
That's right.
If you're in Hello Magazine, it means you are absolutely fabulous.
That's right. So and then I think the other update that we have is perhaps talking about the landscape recovery?
Yeah, I don't know if people are so interested in this.
Well,
this is about
I think it's
nature recovery at Mapperton and Rewilding.
It's a big deal.
Let us know if you'd like to know about that. It is quite a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal for nature. But one of the things that I do, one of the other hats, not the Mapperton baseball hat.
He wears many hats.
But another hat that I wear is chairing a charity called West Dorset Wilding.
Which you started.
Which we started a while ago, with other friends and neighbours. And we've won a government grant for nature recovery in West Dorset. And this brings together 53 local farmers and landowners across the catchment. In other words, the river system that we have. Mapperton is close to the middle of this. and it covers potentially around 4,000 hectares of land.
Which is how many acres for those of us?
Yeah, so I think it's about 10,000, 9,000 acres. So
right.
A really substantial area of land that in different ways and in different places will be working on projects to restore nature. The United Kingdom, because we've really got such a large population on a relatively small island, and we've been practicing agriculture for so long, we've really depleted nature in the countryside here. And that's not to say that we haven't needed to do that in the past. Absolutely, we've needed to feed people, we've needed to make sure that we have exports of food, but now we import so much of our food that in fact it's probably better to hand over some of that land to nature. And certainly at Mapperton, where we've got what's thought of as quite marginal land from a food production standpoint, there's lots of opportunity to do that. And what we mean by that is taking areas that might have had intensive grazing, so lots of cattle and sheep, but particularly sheep farming, which uses up a lot of land, and where you end up with very kind of bare pasture, monocultures of grass essentially. It's an opportunity to take some of that back and graze it much less intensively, so that we still have animals grazing, but at a much lower density. And different people will do different things on their land, but the great news is they're all going to do it in this joined up way, talking to each other, working with each other, and it's been wonderful to meet the farmers. And in fact, we've got a really important meeting on Monday.
Yeah, he's so busy. And Mapperton is right in the sort of heart of it, isn't it?
Right, Mapperton is on it. And the government, luckily, is committed to giving us a 20 to 30 year agreement to fund this nature recovery work. It's really big, everybody, what he's done, and other people with you as well. But this has been, you've been working on this for, you started West Dorset Wilding 2 years ago? I think it was a bit more than that. Yeah, so it's been going for a while, and one of the things that we're wanting to do actually is to create a new channel for this work, particularly for Mapperton Wildlands, because we know that a lot of people love hearing about our wildlands rewilding stories at Mapperton. Not everybody on the channel, but a lot of people do. So we think maybe a dedicated channel for this sort of thing would be really interesting. Not least, we can take lots of beautiful pictures because the scenery is so stunning.
So let us know if you'd be interested in us starting a new rewilding channel. So do let us know. It was interesting today. We had a friend around for lunch, and Luke took him out. I gave him a tour of the exhibition with the American Heiress exhibition, and then you took him outside and gave him a tour of the Mapperton Wildlands, and he walked back in and he said, now I get your partnership. He's the exterior and you're the interior.
Yeah, I didn't really like that division, if I'm completely honest.
I know, but
I think of myself as being interior and exterior,
you are,
but I'm proud of you for being so interior.
I will definitely say I'm more interior, but I just love,
Come on, we had a fantastic walk the other day.
No, we did. We
filmed some of that for our patrons. By the way, that was an example of extra content that goes only to our patrons.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll just go out with our cameras and do something really off the cuff. And we had this lovely walk. It was hot. It was lush. We had fantastic views.
We fell asleep.
And we fell asleep in the field.
Yeah, we were so exhausted.
Until the pigs came and nuzzled us, which was quite fun.
Yeah, it's but it is. Yeah, so that's brilliant. Everybody's saying, great idea. I would be there. Please start the rewilding. Please teach us. Yes to it. Wildlife webcams.
Yeah, the wildlife webcams is a great thing to do. It's there's so many good things to celebrate when it comes to nature recovery and rewilding stories, and there are already some great channels out there. Let's give a shout out to a channel called Mossy Earth.
Yeah,
really worth checking that out. Mossy, Mossy, new word, Earth, and they're absolutely brilliant. And they go round and rewild patches of land in different parts of the world and tell the stories. Because the stories are not just stories about land; they're also stories about the people that are involved in doing that. And you can see a lot of the before and after. We've got somebody here saying more piglet content. Do you know what? I went to see the pigs today, and it was quite extraordinary because I was sandwiched, no pun intended, between the two sisters, the two young piglets.
I know.
They're big now. And
they're big now.
And they were both nuzzling up, trying to scratch. All they want to do is scratch their backs for some reason. I was almost knocked over.
Yeah, no, I know.
It was quite something.
Yeah. So, yes. So that's interesting. We've got a good positive response to that because that's something that we did want to ask if people were
There's a
interested
question here.
in that.
Luke,
Yeah.
have you ever been to the US? From Joel. Hi, Joel. The answer is that I lived in the US.
Yeah, he
for
thinks
quite a
he's
long
American.
time. I do sometimes think that. I went to Columbia University in New York, and then after that, I went back and I worked in New York in the early 2000s, and thought I would meet my American wife over there, and came back empty-handed, and then bumped into Julie in London after that. So
That's right. There you go.
So there, there you go. So absolutely love the States. Can't wait to go back. We have not been back for ages. Please can we go?
Well,
Can you
there was
commit?
a big pandemic.
Can you commit to
And
everybody that we will be going back?
Well, yeah. So what I'm
I
trying
miss
to
it.
I know. I'm trying to work some things out. Not for this year. I can already tell you it's May, and I can tell you that my this year is way too busy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, then I might just go with one of the kids.
So-
Do you mind if I go with one of the kids?
No, I don't
You
mind
don't
at
mind
all.
that, do you?
But
Okay.
what I'd like to do is go there, have a little bit of a holiday, but also I'm trying now to get in touch with different various sort of museums and places that might be interested in having me come and do a talk and bring the Alberta AI with me, because I can bring the AI wherever I go, and do a talk on this, unknown American Heiress with this enormous collection. So that's my plan, is to start to make some content. But I am giving, so he probably, sometimes we update each other on this. I am doing a couple of things that he might not be aware of. So on the 29th of June, I'm heading back up to Hinchinbrook, and it's the Huntingdonshire History Week. And I have been asked on that Saturday to review the troops. And so I am going to be reviewing the troops, and it also gives me an excuse to bring back a couple of the frames that I had to leave behind from the pictures that I took back. That was a video probably almost a year ago, and I needed, because they didn't fit in the car. So I'm going to be reviewing the troops. And then I have been asked to give a talk up in Godmanchester, which is next to Huntingdon. So it's still kind of the same area, and lots of Alberta's letters. She's in Godmanchester, and I've been asked to give the Alberta talk to 300 people in the big church up there. And I can't remember the name of the church, but 300 people I'll be giving the Alberta chat to. And that's in September. Don't worry, that's in September.
I just follow Julie around, I let her, stand at the front and do all the posh things, and I just sort of sit and cheer from the back. But I'm delighted that's true. Right, so let's, before we go, please can we remind you that if you want one of these wonderful hats, and we really hope you do, because it is so wonderful to have new patrons, you would join us at patreon.com/Mapperton Live. It's in the description.
Yeah, I'll do it one more time.
And sign up for a Hogarth, Reynolds or Gainsborough subscription. It's the full year. You get a discount on that.
16% discount.
But anyone who signs up in this next week will get one of these hats.
So it's for the month of May. So
Sorry,
this
month-
is
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Well, less than 2 weeks, but yeah.
2 weeks.
So
and everybody who's already a patron, who's been a patron for over a year in those categories, will automatically get one of these. So
yeah, I know. Look, I've got somebody saying I have a turtleneck and gloves on and a hat.
It is not that cold
I'm
here
always
today.
cold.
I can tell you the temperature in here is about 19 degrees.
Cold.
20. That's not
Cold.
that cold for England.
Cold.
You know what? When we had our wonderful American visitors coming to stay, I actually got told to turn the heating down.
Yeah, you did. That's
Didn't
right.
I?
After the first
People said
night.
it was too hot. We just put the heating up, thinking that Americans needed lots of heating, but
I do.
only Julie.
I know.
So now we better wrap things up here, because
we've got to set up. We're going to set up in another room. So about 20 minutes from now, at 8:15 8 our time, but that's in 20 minutes wherever you are tuning in from right now. We have over 600 of you tuning in. Just go get yourself a cup of tea and meet me in the library. Go to our channel, American Viscountess, our sister channel, American Viscountess, and I will be live in that room. And I'll be talking about my dissertation, about my new YouTube channel. I'll be talking about the Alberta Research Project, and I'll be talking to Alberta herself.
You will indeed be talking to Alberta, or at least her AI reincarnation.
Yes.
So we really
Exactly.
hope to see you there. We're really grateful that you've joined us this evening. We're really grateful that you are viewers of Mapperton Live, and particular thanks to those of you that become patrons. We look forward to getting to know you.
It's fun. It's super fun. All right, we've got a skedaddle. Do you use that word, skedaddle?
That's a British word.
Skedaddle is.
Yeah, it's up there with wonky.
What?
Yeah,
See, you learned something new. All right. Okay, see you guys in 20 minutes.